Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, authorities still searching for the suspect involved in Yorktown's Amber Alert from Wednesday. And Uvalde family settled with the city for $2 million. We hear from their attorney and some of the victims' family members this afternoon. Plus, a tornado went through Temple last night, leaving thousands without power.
We actually have a few more thunder showers up in north central, northeast Texas today, but they were very far away from our area. For us, the heat is going to be the story all the way through the holiday weekend. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment.
Plus, Louisville police have revealed a violation in Scotty Scheffler's arrest from last Friday. You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Karina Garcia. Authorities are still looking for the suspect in the Yorktown Amber Alert Wednesday. Julian Rivera is 24 years old, 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighs 175 pounds. He has brown hair and black eyes. The suspect is driving a black 2007 Chevrolet Tahoe with a Texans license plate number that reads FVK0342. The suspect was last seen in San Antonio. If you have any information, call the DeWitt County Sheriff's Office at 361-275-5734. This morning around 9:10, police responded to a two-vehicle crash involving a Victoria County Sheriff's Office vehicle on Port Lavaca Drive and North Laurent Street. Through preliminary investigation, officers say a 2015 tanker was traveling westbound on Port Lavaca Drive and ignored the red light, causing a collision with the VCSO's Dodge Charger. The drivers of both vehicles were taken to local hospitals for treatment. A 25-year-old suspect was arrested by Victoria County deputies Wednesday. That's Jose Ramirez of Victoria. He's charged with assault of a family member impeding breath or circulation. He remains in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a $40,000 bond. And over in Palacios, police arrested a 25-year-old suspect last Friday. Jose Silva of Blessing was charged with intoxication manslaughter. That's a felony. It's connected to a fatal crash that claimed the life of Dinkar Signola. The crash was in the 1300 block of 12th Street in Palacios that happened on March 17th. Bloomington High School graduates will walk across the stage Friday evening, but one parent will join them on the stage. That's the mother of Kevin Garza. She will accept a diploma in her son's honor. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick knows more about this graduation ceremony. Adarius, what's going on?
A car struck and killed Kevin Garza in 2016. If he was still alive, Garza would have walked the stage this Friday. The 11-year-old was walking to Bloomington Elementary School one morning when a car hit the child and kept moving. No one was arrested in the hit-and-run situation. After years of waiting for answers, his family will help honor Kevin Garza at what should have been his graduation. His childhood friend and classmate fought for this tribute.
It's a good thing that they're doing it, because they haven't really talked about anything since everything happened. It's our senior year. It would have been his senior year. I think that things should be known.
Talk to teachers, faculty, or anyone who would listen about mentioning Garza at the graduation. She says she remembered him as the most exciting person in the room. She told us if Kevin was still here, graduating would have been even more exciting than it already is. Karina, back to you.
Adarius, thank you. And pausing on the news, let's toss it over to Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis with the latest on the weather front.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. You probably felt a little bit of the heat today, and I wish I could tell you different, but I can't. It's going to be getting hotter and hotter over the next couple of days. Tomorrow, we're looking for a high of 94, hundreds in much of central Texas and west Texas. But for us, we're going to get up to very close to the 100-degree mark over the weekend. Yeah, and so we'll be talking about precautions we need to take over the weekend. All that coming up in just a moment. Back to you, Karina.
Mac, thank you. Forecasters confirmed a tornado touchdown in Temple Wednesday night. These are the scenes after severe storms moved through the city. More than 6,000 customers were left without power. Bell County, where Temple is located, could see storms again today. It will remain under a flood watch until tonight. The National Weather Service in Fort Worth says it will conduct a storm survey. The Storm Prediction Center says more than 190 storm reports were submitted across the nation Wednesday. And out in West Texas, a sheriff caught this tornado on camera yesterday. It touched down near the Sterling-Tom Green County line just west of San Angelo. The twister towered over the county side as it crossed State Highway 163 sometime around 6 o'clock. The National Weather Service of Abilene and San Angelo is waiting on those damage reports to classify the tornado's EF rating. NWS Warning Coordination meteorologist Mike Castillo says the tornado touched down in a remote section of the county, likely isolating structural damage to rural ranches out there. Wednesday, the families of the victims of the Robb Elementary School shooting announced that they have settled a lawsuit with the city for $2 million.
This was one ray of sunshine in a healing process.
Families of those injured and killed at Robb Elementary negotiated a $2 million settlement with the city of Uvalde, an amount that will come out of the city's insurance policy.
Do you think that's fair?
Of course not. But again, it's not about the money.
Javier Cazares on the front lines pushing for accountability and justice. His daughter Jackie among the 21 victims. The settlement and lawsuit, another extension of that fight.
Until that day, you know, how can we move forward, you know, or heal correctly? We just do our best, you know. It's an uphill battle, and we're going to keep on going.
A stipulation of the settlement included the Uvalde Police Department reaffirming their commitment to enhancing training for current and future officers. The city will also continue investing in providing mental health support for those impacted by the tragedy.
We're still going to be fighting. There was still failure.
Jerry Mata overwhelmed with emotion as the second year of remembrance approaches. He's hoping this lawsuit against Texas DPS and Uvalde CISD leads to monumental change.
My daughter sat there, you know, for 77 minutes crying, asking for help, you know. Well, these guys get medals, you know, like I don't get that.
Bipartisan border security legislation failed to advance from the Senate today when nearly every Republican and a handful of Democrats voted against the measure. Today's vote appears to be the end for the legislation the Senate Republicans once insisted on before killing it. Democrats, seen as politically vulnerable right now on the issue of border security, caved to Republican demands to tighten border controls. The bill's fate was sealed when Donald Trump urged Republican lawmakers to kill the deal. Today, Louisville police said the detective who arrested golfer Scotty Scheffler violated department policy when he failed to activate his body's camera during the incident. However, the police released video of that day this morning. Last Friday, Scheffler had arrived at the country club for the PGA Championship, but a fatal accident caused traffic problems. As he tried to enter the club, he was stopped by the detective directing traffic. In the police report, the detective said Scheffler demanded to be let in and went forward without his direction. He was then dragged down by the driver and then arrested.
Nothing has changed since my comment last Friday. He didn't do anything wrong. We will go to trial or the case will be dismissed. We have no interest in settling the case. There's no discussions regarding that. We're prepared to litigate it as need be.
Scheffler was charged with second-degree assault of a police officer, third-degree criminal mischief, reckless driving, and disregarding signals from officers directing traffic. Now a reminder, early voting continues tomorrow. Early voting is, of course, at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A. Early voting hours are Thursday and Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So far, 2,171 voters have cast their ballots early in person over the last 3 days. That's an average of 723 early votes per day. Now, in honor of National Peace Officers Memorial Day and National Police Week, one family is honoring a fallen officer. Deputy Sheriff David Castillo passed away in a car collision that hit a tree while responding to a mandatory officer assistance call. Friday, his family will honor him at San Antonio at the courthouse downtown. And this Saturday, that's May 25th, his family will hold a family reunion at the Victoria Art League at 4 p.m. David was a former Victoria High School football player. Now remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. American Airlines has revised a legal filing that put blame on a child in a 2023 plane incident. Straight ahead on 25 News now at 5, we have the details of that plane incident. Also ahead, forecasters are predicting this year's hurricane season won't be a quiet one. At least 9 people are dead and 121 more hurt after the collapse of a stage during a campaign rally in North Mexico. The state's governor confirmed a child was among the dead. A strong gust of wind caused the stage to collapse during an event attended by presidential candidate Jorge Alvarez. Videos posted to social media Wednesday night shows people screaming and running away and later climbing out from under metal poles. Some of those hurt are now stable while others are undergoing surgery. American Airlines plans to amend a legal filing that claims a child was at fault in an incident involving an employee last year. The incident happened on a flight from Austin to Los Angeles, where a 9-year-old girl was secretly being recorded in a plane bathroom. American Airlines cited error for blaming the girl and has requested its law firm to change the legal response, which they say was made in error by an outside insurance company. The former flight attendant accused of secretly recording minors in bathrooms was also named. The girl's family's attorney said American Airlines change only came due to public backlash. 2 abortion-inducing drugs could soon be reclassified as controlled and dangerous substances in Louisiana. The state Senate passed a first-of-its-kind bill today to reclassify mifepristone and this other abortion drug as scheduled IV drugs. Many doctors say this bill will make it harder to prescribe medicines they use for important reproductive health care needs, besides those of abortion. Louisiana currently has a near total abortion ban in place, applying both to surgical and medical abortions with no exceptions to rape or incest. It's National Stop the Bleed Day, and health experts say there are many ways to control bleeding during an emergency. Take a look.
It's the #1 preventable cause of death after traumatic injury.
Once an injury occurs and bleeding begins, the clock starts, and the sooner we can get that bleeding stopped, the more likely it is that a patient is going to survive.
Recognizing life-threatening bleeding and acting quickly and effectively is critical. Knowing what to do before an emergency can mean the difference between life and death, says Dr. Kenji Inaba with the American College of Surgeons Stop the Bleed Committee.
For anybody that does not have a medical background, it can be a stressful situation, but learning these techniques ahead of time really can prepare you.
In an emergency, when there's excessive bleeding, Inaba says to first call 911 so help can be on the way. Next, make sure the scene is safe to intervene. Then he says there are 3 ways to stop bleeding: putting direct pressure on the wound, if the wound area is large, packing the wound, or applying a tourniquet to a limb that's bleeding. You can learn these techniques in a free Stop the Bleed interactive course at stopthebleed.org.
It gives you some techniques that you can directly rely upon, that you can rest upon, that you can apply immediately. And I think that that truly makes a difference in how you respond to an emergency incident.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The National Hurricane Center is predicting a hyperactive Atlantic hurricane season. It released what it calls the most active preseason forecast in the agency's history. It's forecasting between 17 and 25 named storms. Of those, 8 to 13 could become hurricanes, and 4 to 7 on those could strengthen into Category 3 or stronger. Dozens of cities from Texas to Florida to the Panhandle are having one of their wettest years to date. Mac, is this something you agree with?
Well, we've been talking about it for a while. Yes, the temperature of the Atlantic is already in where it should be in August. So we've got very warm water out there. Anything that takes off will become probably a named storm. And yes, it's going to be in the 20s. We'll have our official summary of forecasts as we get into June 1st. Right about now, 90 degrees. It feels like 99. Yes, it's going to be like this for a while. 91 official high today. That's our record is 96. So we'll be just under records as we get on into the long holiday weekend. I know you people are traveling, or many of you are, and we'll be taking a look at what to expect around the state coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Some of you are taking off a little early for the long weekend. Some of you have to work Monday, but all of us are going to be dealing with some very hot weather. In fact, it looks like we really have switched on the heat for quite some time. Now, at this hour of the day, it's hot, it's hazy, and it's quite humid. For us, it felt like 103, I believe, this afternoon with our heat index. This afternoon, yet another band of storms is actually moving through North Texas. We'll talk about that in a second. And as I mentioned yesterday, it's not just us, it's the entire Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, northern Mexico, that's under the high pressure. This is the system that's going to be parking itself over North America and giving us a brutal summer, much like last summer. Remember, we had 60 days over 100. I'm thinking it may be a little bit more than that. We'll talk about that later. But to give you an idea, down here in the state of Tabasco, which is in southern Mexico, in the jungles, right? The monkeys are being overwhelmed by the heat and they're falling out of the trees. They're basically getting heat exhaustion. So not even in the tropics are the wildlife being able to tolerate this kind of heat. So can you imagine what it's going to do to you and me? All right, well, we had a pretty quiet day other than the heat. You heard that last night we had these powerful storms that struck San Angelo, went right across central Texas. It went over Killeen and Belton and Temple and then rolled all the way into Louisiana. This is the one that caused all the damage up there. We had a couple tornadoes in far west Texas. We had about 3 reported in this area, and today they had more stormy weather rolled through that region. So that's not helpful, but at least it doesn't look like it's going to be maintaining as strong as it was last night. You can see how it all fired right here along the West Texas dry line. We've talked about that. 2 tornadoes there. You can see all this is hail, hail, hail. All of these areas reported hail. And down here, the winds got even as far south as Elgin, Texas, which is what, near Austin. In fact, this particular video is of a twister trying to get organized there in Elgin. And you can see how, it may not be that classic video, but it is knocking down poles, power lines, and making damage in that area. And that's what I'm trying to say is pretty far south. Majority of the activity was right there south of Waco and then extended to the east. Now, this is right now. Severe thunderstorms firing in West Texas again. All of this area is under a flood watch because they had already a lot of rain yesterday. And as far as you and I are concerned, well, we're here, but already heat advisories are up for much of South Texas, and you may as well just include yourself. 94 is a forecast high for tomorrow, 100 in San Antonio, and it gets a little bit worse as we get into the weekend. Now, here's tomorrow, 91 along the coast, and that's along the coast. The good news, you've got a good sea breeze blowing. Sunny skies for Friday, getting up to 95 in the inland areas. And I don't know, you're not going to believe me, but I'm looking at 94, 95, 97 on Sunday, 98 on Memorial Day. So it'll stay hot and dangerously hot all the way till Wednesday when we finally get a little bit of a break in the temperature. So you know what to do. We got another summer to get through, and we'll talk about it further on. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone, and here's Karina.
Thank you, Matt. Coming up next on 25 News Now 5, we're going to take a look at your stocks. Plus, the country's biggest ticketing website and concert promoter is facing a groundbreaking monopoly lawsuit. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow down 624 points, the S&P 500 down 42 points, and the Nasdaq down 77 points. Oil down 70 cents, closing at $76.87 per barrel. Today, the U.S. Justice Department in multiple states sued Ticketmaster's parent company, Live Nation. The massive legal action claimed that Live Nation abused its industry dominance to overcharge concert goers. The lawsuit accuses Live Nation of masterminding a plan to stifle competition. Critics say the lack of competition led to various issues like poor customer service, confusing pricing, and expensive ticketing fees. The goal is to seek a jury trial and eventually break up the reported monopoly. So here is your viewer poll this afternoon. The question is, do you think the DOJ's lawsuit against Live Nation will change the ticketing industry? Yes or no? We want to hear your opinion on this. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6. Boeing appears on track to meet the Federal Aviation Administration's deadline to present quality control fixes for its assembly line. The FAA gave Boeing 90 days to present a plan, and the plane manufacturer will present its plan next week, which is the deadline. The agency ordered the plane in late February after a hole blew open in the side of an airborne 737 MAX a month earlier. The agency says its audit of the production line at Boeing and its key 737 MAX supplier found multiple failures to comply with the quality control requirements. Now stay with us. We're going to take one last look at your forecast when we come back. Plus, get ready to celebrate World Turtle Day. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight right after 25 News Now at 5.
Coming up tonight, these severe storms on the move right now. A major storm slamming New York City just as millions now travel for the holiday. The police video tonight of the #1 golfer in the world, the confrontation in Louisville, and the DOJ going after Ticketmaster tonight. Do they drive up ticket prices? Next.
The Warriors Weekend Field of Honor is set to host their Memorial Day ceremonies on Monday, May 27th at the Golden Crescent Gold Star Memorial. For the details, go to our website, crossroadstoday.com. Now, today is a celebration since it's World Turtle Day. The nonprofit American Tortoise Rescue sponsors it each year to raise awareness about these reptiles. It says organizations around the world put on fundraisers and educational events each May 23rd. And people at home can get involved by posting selfies on social media. This year's theme is Let's Party. The rescue says about 60% of the world's turtle species are extinct. So it's a very noble cause, and we got to save our animals. We got to save our planet.
I've done quite a few stories on this, the large sea turtles down along Padre Island. And one of the most amazing parts of it is that, of course, you know, they do the little hatchling little babies and they go out to sea. 30, 40 years later, they'll come back to that very same spot.
And do it there?
And create more babies there.
Oh.
It's just an amazing thing. Folks, we've got to deal with it. It's going to be very hot, and I know there's all kinds of activities outdoors. Just wear a hat, drink plenty of fluids, don't overdo it in the middle of the day, and try and stay cool the best you can.
Oh yeah, and keep that skin safe with some sunscreen.
That too.
It's gonna get some deadly rays out there.
Don't get too much sunburn.
Yeah. Alrighty, thank you, Mac. And thank you for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.